Welcome to Getting Intimate with Intimacy. I am Jamie London Wollberg. My pronouns are he, they.
I'm Jayne, she, her.
And I am May. This is a space for deep exploration of the mind, body, and soul connection.
Getting Intimate with Intimacy covers consistent multimedia content spanning all forms of intimacy, from sexual to intellectual, and everything in between.
Our content is created for all beings, bodies, and abilities, age 18 and up.
And it can be enjoyed on YouTube as well as OnlyFans and Inside Timer. The links will be in the description on for our live streams.
We're really looking forward to experiencing the infinite layers of intimacy with you.
And remember, intimacy starts within.
Namaste, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to the beautiful Getting Intimate with Intimacy, where we are here to get intimate with you. It is our third episode on the theme, the topic of menstruation, and how has society's narratives on menstruation impacted the intimacy of all humans. This is our very first integration episode. You may notice that we are missing someone. May was unable to be with us today, but we are going to trudge forward because this is so important. We cannot let us all continue on this journey without integrating all of the information that has come through, all of the different things that may have been triggering to you, that was triggering to us, all of the insights and expansion. So we are here to do all of that and more, and we will recap shortly. But before we do, let us do a little introduction. I am Jamie, he, they pronouns.
I'm Jayne, she, her, Faye.
And we are here because we love you unconditionally, and we are so excited to deep dive. This is episode 24, which is a huge milestone given that we've done 4 every month. And so I think that basically totals up to about 6 months, give or take, I'm sure. I think
minus a little break over the holidays.
Yes, we did a little holiday break. So that's amazing. And we are still here. And so much has changed because we want to increase our value that we are providing you here. And so if you have not watched the previous 2 episodes, you can totally still integrate with us, because surely you have or know someone who has a journey with menstruation. Menstruation is something that we unlocked in the past 2 episodes that impacts everybody, whether you're menstruating or not. So regardless of whether you heard those 2 episodes, which we highly recommend that you go and listen to, definitely stay for this one and receive the integration. The way that this format is going to go is, in these integration episodes, we are going to do a little bit of a recap on the previous 2 episodes and what happened. And then we are going to dive into service. And we're going to actually provide service, whatever we feel called to each week, that is going to, or each integration session, technically every 3 weeks. And we will be providing you whatever service we feel called to help you to integrate within this journey. So today, I'm going to be doing a sound bath. And KJ, what are you going to be doing?
I will be doing oracle card readings and any intuitive messages that come with that, to address, like Jamie said, the concept of integrating the heavy, deep, and real conversation that we've been having about how menstruation has impacted us as individuals and society, and everybody's intimacy. Because as Jamie pointed out, that has been part of the big discussion, is that it really affects everybody, right? Because those of us that menstruate and experience having a period in our bodies have to deal with the rest of society as well. So there's been some imbalances, there's been lack of information, education, and support, right? These are all things that, moving forward, we have the vision, we're holding the vision, we're creating the vision to have a more inclusive and supportive education around menstruation, and how that will also affect, our friends, our partners, those types of folks that ought to, have the opportunity to support those that do menstruate as well. So yes, I will be pulling some cards from my Healing Waters Oracle, as well as probably the Ancient Stones Oracle deck, and any intuitive messages that come through with that.
So. I'm excited. I'm into it. So let us do a little bit of a recap. What I just had my phone. Oh, here it
You
is.
just had it.
Oh my gosh.
I know,
Today,
lots
what
going
else
on.
I know there is a lot going on, and this flower moon was no joke. Okay, so in the previous episode, um, we had discussed different narratives around the power struggle with historical attempts to control women by portraying menstruation as weakness. We talked about the hormonal changes. Of course, we started the first episode with sharing each of our menstruation stories and our journey around menstruation as well. We talked about the highlighting, as KJ was talking to, of the lack of information and how that translates into a lack of support and a lack of feeling supported and a lack of being able to support anybody else, and the feelings of shame and unfairness, which was something all three of us were really tapping into, this unfairness that
And
we
confusion.
and confusion, yes, as well. And then the emphasis of what we want to happen is having empathetic and inclusive education where we're destigmatizing, where we're doing less of a separation of the sexes with zero regard to gender, and anything that would happen at times that are not actually necessary to be separating, because it wouldn't necessarily be appropriate, and really tailoring our education to making sure that it would be appropriate, and even looking at what would be appropriate to start at a younger age in terms of like the good touch, bad touch, and things like that, and maybe even changing that language and how important language ultimately is. And we also talked about the positives, that we were so overcome and overwhelmed by all of the negative things that at the end we realized, wait, we didn't talk about any of the positive things, like how your intuition is heightened and you're more sensitive. I think it was KJ who was speaking to those things. And we were like, oh yeah, there are really powerful things. And how menstruation and the narrative around it and communication and supporting an act of service can actually help to build intimacy and understanding with partners and friends and family members and other people. And we also talked about the fact that more than people who are assigned female at birth are menstruating. Anybody with an XX chromosome is menstruating at some point. I do not menstruate anymore, but I certainly did for a really long time until my hysterectomy. And we talked about the interweavings of that and the fact that you can't just isolate out all of those who are now through menopause. Just because they're not menstruating doesn't mean that that wasn't their experience. And KJ also talked about the idea of us being cyclical beings and how important it is to honor the cycles. And we talked a little bit about, May had mentioned about how we're meant to perform just like anybody else without considering that. And it's not because it's a weakness, it's not better than or less than, it's just a different scenario. And nurturing the positive things about us and utilizing that in those times as well.
Right. And that the fact that if we had better education, right, every week in the month is a different phase for people that menstruate, right? It affects your hormones are doing different things. So there's different recommendations of how to move, when to work out, like all of those different things that go into humaning, right? And yes, that lack of support of like, well, you just have to go to work and perform like everybody else who's not doing that. So a little bit outlandish when you really just comes down to it.
Yeah. And also, there's not like, we didn't even get into perks, but like
Right.
professional perks and how all of that goes. And I think we did sort of skate over, because of course there's only so much time, but we like skated over the challenges in getting hired for certain positions when you are someone who menstruates, when you're someone who could have children. And just to slip this in there, because it is important, those who are masculine of center and looked at especially as men in the professional realm, when they have families, they're considered more reliable and more someone worth hiring, because that they're not just going to up and leave because they have people to provide for. So they're counting on being there, and you know that they have personality traits of loyalty and all these things. And there's incredible, you know, discommunication, disrespect, discommunication. Like, it's a mess to just focus on that narrative. Did you want to?
Yeah, there's a huge gap. There's the garbage trucks outside, so I'm trying not to let that overpower. Yeah, no, there's a definitely discrepancy, right? And that gap, because who is to say that a man in any given sense is more of a provider than a mother, right? Who birthed the baby, grew the baby, carried the baby, and is therefore innately tied to caretaking and supporting and providing for her children. And yeah, then there's the whole, single moms, and they're still having periods. And then they have kids and menstrual symptoms, right, to deal with. So definitely lots more for future episodes. Definitely looking forward to it, and if anybody that watches wants specific, to focus on something in the future, absolutely feel free to drop that in. We love suggestions. We'd love to take those suggestions and collaborate and to interact with y'all. Jamie, that was a great recap. Thank you so much. Were you wanting to do the sound bath, or shall I jump in with my oracle cards?
What would you like to do? Initially, I thought the sound bath was good to open people kind of up and get people into receiving, but if you would prefer to go first because you want to sort of melt away after the sound bath, that's okay. What would you prefer?
Yeah, I was thinking I could pull cards and see what comes through, and then we could all just kind of integrate with the sound bath.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, go for it.
All right, so we're looking for messages of integration and healing around the wonderful conversation we've had about menstruation and intimacy.
He wants the sound bath.
And I chose my Healing Waters deck because we're talking about folks with wombs, right? With a womb space, and that is water. And we are born in water, we start in water. So this is a beautiful healing deck. Oh, all right. Oh, one at a time, please, y'all. Mm-hmm. Can't make this up. I'm laughing. You'll see why. I'll tell you. Just a minute. Because I said in water, and then I got the card and call. Let's see if there's some supporting messages from the stones. Okay. All right, so we had 4 cards come forward. And the first, and I will go ahead and read from my book here because they have beautiful stories, and then we'll get the overall theme of the message. So the first card is Selkie. As you can see, Selkie are the seal people in many traditions. Come out of hiding, embrace who you really are. And there's in the background, you can see like a human form, like a mermaid or so, there with the seal. Oh, there we go. Very nice. So there are many thoughts about what the ancient story of the seal people, or Selkies, signifies. But for me, it's about the masks we wear, things being taken from us, how we hide parts of ourselves. The longing for home, the call to be wild and free, embracing our true self, answering the call deep within, and sharing our true voice. In Celtic, Scandinavian, and Icelandic mythology, there are different versions of the story. But here's one example. A man finds a Selkie, or a seal, woman on the beach. He steals her skin, without which she can't return to the sea, hides it, and convinces her to become his wife. The Selkie woman feels the ocean calling to her deep within and yearns for it daily. The couple lead a normal human life and have children, but eventually the Selkie finds her hidden skin and returns to her home in the sea. It's time to come out of hiding, to show the world who you truly are, to embrace your uniqueness, your weirdness, your you-ness, to swim freely in the ocean of your life. How are you being called to embrace who you truly are? Are there ways that you're hiding your unique light from the world? How can you embrace even more of who you truly are? Where do you feel held captive, and what do you need to do to feel free? It's about embracing your whole authentic self and using your voice, which is, something that has been a running theme with this conversation. I love that. The second one is Clear Waters, which is a beautiful, beautiful card about clarity. I'm getting chills looking at this. It's very activating. And it says clear vision, confirmation, right timing, opportunity. It's water. I thought it was like a gemstone in the center, but it's just water that's causing a ripple effect. Everything's coming together and supporting you right now. Potency is present. Alignment has arrived. Potential is here. The waters before you are crystal clear, and what you're stepping into is of the highest potency. You know the way forward. There are clear seas ahead. Keep facing your true north and proceed onward. This is a wonderful card with a very positive message. It suggests that something's come into your life that's a great big yes, or you've been working on bringing things into alignment and are stepping into that now. A creative project, a new relationship, a new home, a new phase of life. Whatever it is you've been manifesting or longing for, it seems that you're clear about what you want and it's coming to fruition. This card comes with positivity, confirmation, and a lot of promising potential. You're supported on your journey and everything is opening up for you. Keep your gaze ahead of you and don't get distracted by what others are doing or by other things you could be doing. You know what to do and have been working for this for a long time. Enjoy this moment. Embrace the clarity and the vision and receive all that you've created and will continue to create for yourself in the world. Healing Waters affirmation. I embrace the clarity and potency of what's before me. I say yes and proceed ahead. That is a beautiful message. And I just want to remind folks, if you're watching this, whether it's live or in the future, you're coming across the replay, this is a timeless reading. So while it does have a theme, this is also, if something resonates for you specifically, you can take that as it is. So I love that. These are definitely positive. Using your voice, clear vision. The third card that I chuckled about is Caul, which is Caul. And this is the picture. She's kind of behind a veil. Not only is she like underwater or behind water, there's kind of a veil over her head and her face. And it says healer, seer, priestess, priestess, soul purpose. The folklore of many different places, including Iceland, France, Holland, Albania, England, and Germany, has tales about a rare event called an Caul or veiled birth. This occurs when the mother goes into labor, but her waters fail to break, and the baby appears in this world still inside the amniotic sac in which it gestated. According to tradition, children born in Caul have second sight and gifts of healing. I've got full body chills. In Scotland, they were seen as good omens, and fishermen sought out birth Caul, the amniotic sac, as an amulet to protect them from drowning. In ancient Egypt, they were believed to be the future priests, priestesses, and priestesses of the community. This is the card of the healer, the seer, the wisdom keeper, and the mystic. Perhaps you're already on this path, or perhaps it's something new for you. The healer, the shaman, the medicine person knows that it's through facing their own shadow and taking their own deep healing journey that they can return to guide others in their healing. The healer is, like all of us, in their own spiral of transformation and healing. Healed is not a stagnant state. The healer knows they're not meant to be perfect and whole all the time. Instead, it's because they've journeyed to the deepest, darkest, uncharted oceanic caves and returned with an open heart and mind that they are able to hold space for another. This card is an acknowledgement of your role in the world and the deep work you've been doing on your own healing journey. And the soul inquiry is, how can you answer the call of your soul in the fullest expression today. So good. And then the final card of support came from the Ancient Stones deck. And this says, weather the storms. And again, it's just like this woman is in some kind of cave with stones around her in the water, or there's stones like on the beach. I guess you can't actually tell. It looks like it might be outside, but there's a huge storm brewing. There's lightning coming down. So here she is, standing in the midst of all of that. Let it change you. Embrace the unexpected. The Earth's ancient stones are living history. They're an expression of our planet, yet they also hold its story. Water, fire, ice, and wind have been sculpting and shaping the Earth since it formed billions of years ago, breaking down and dissolving its rocky surface and creating countless landmarks in stone. The stones know that every storm will pass, and that the harshest weather shapes who we are over time. Nothing is ever wasted, and the greatest challenges end up being the very things that make us, not break us. The Weather the Storms card puts challenges into perspective. It reminds us that through challenge comes growth, and through hardship comes resilience. Whatever you're going through, you'll get through this. However hard things are right now, the weather will improve. No matter how rough the seas and bitter the winds, soon the sun will reappear. You're stronger than you think you are, and becoming even more brilliant through the extremes of your life. Out of this, good will come, so have faith. Root in and let the changing seasons craft you into even more of who you truly are. And the soul inquiry says, how can you embrace the changing seasons of your life? I love this. It's so good. And it resonates for me personally, like with this conversation that we've been having. It's talking about coming out of hiding, embracing who you are. That's what we've been talking about, is the collective urge, desire, and need to integrate all of who we are, right? And living in a state of disconnection, lack of information, lack of education and understanding is not how we get there, right? That is not fostering that space and the ability to be fully integrated. So as a assigned female at birth, right, that has this experience of menstruation in our bodies. And I love the confirmation card of clear vision, right? Clear waters. We are holding the vision. All of us do have the ability to do that, right? So we can hold that vision. We have the clarity, like, this is no longer working, right? We want to live authentically. We want everybody to have this support and understanding and education, consent, safety, right? All of the things. And that this is the time to have this conversation. So interesting about the end call. And that is such a rare birth, right? To be able to not have your water break and to give birth to the baby still inside the sac. That is very rare. And like the card said, it's been cherished in other cultures. And we've talked about the waters within us creating this extra level of intuition, right? Along with the hormones and the systems in a assigned female body, right? So we have this ability, and looking more at the positive, right? Like we didn't touch on so much in this conversation, but embracing all of you, right? And saying, okay, I do have these gifts. This is my lived experience, right? How can I embrace all of me, my body, my cycles, the cycles of the earth, right? And move forward in power, right? Empowered, moving in my power, the power that I have as a creator being. And knowing that this journey is going to have waves. It's going to be stormy sometimes. There's going to be unexpected things that come up, even in the journey back to self, right? We're talking about this journey of coming home, having wholeness, and having the opportunity to integrate ongoing, right? You as a trans person have a totally different journey than I do, or than Maria does, or others. And it's a beautiful thing that we're having these conversations now. It's timely, it is time, and it's also so important to have the community and support. So the final message that I'm hearing is if you are somebody that struggles with the concept of menstruation, either for yourself or for somebody else, or the lack of information, like we've talked about, find community, reach out, you know. Um, it's also important to have that support, and every person deserves to have that support in this.
Beautiful message, KJ. Thank you so much. I just had a huge breakthrough, which was that it's funny that I hadn't really, I don't know that I've talked about this or really thought about this in this way, but it's right in line with something I talk about all the time, which is that our
Jamie, can you speak up just a little bit?
Yes.
Because your audio settings.
Our physical, oh, it's probably because I changed it for the sound bath. I wasn't anticipating and saying anything, but then I had this huge awareness and I was like, I must share this. So, our physical vessel is an alarm system, and it's what partly helps us, right, to stay grounded. In a way, it is what helps us to be grounded in this reality. Without it, we would be a soul floating around. We would have a non-physical form. And what I'm realizing is that menstruating monthly and menstruating at all allows for us to have the invitation to be that much more aware of our physical body and being grounded, and it allows us to be reminded of the creation energy. And so that's really, really powerful when you integrate that awareness. That menstruation is funny because I'm surrounded by candles, and there's only one candle that's like losing it right now, and it's my candle that I have right in front of the deck you got me for my life day. It's my LGBTQ AI2S plus ancestor altar, and it's literally like right now. They're loving it. And so menstruating is something that is actually a big part of that process. And when I think about it in that lens, and I think about, well, what would humanity be like if there was zero menstruation? We would need something else to tether us to that creation energy and to grounding in our bodies. So whatever they called it, whatever it would be, there would need to be something occurring within the physical vessel to help create that. And ostensibly, it would need to be, something that would have to do with the creation organs, like, unless we were non-physical and whatever. So that was a really, really powerful reading, and I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, that opportunity to honor the wholeness and the creative process.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love it so much. Okay, let me move this so that everyone can try to see, and then I'm also going to ask for a quick volume because I've been playing with the settings. Can you hear this? Yes? Like properly or dimly?
It was quiet.
It's quiet. Okay, let me try. Whoops, not that. How about now?
Much better.
Okay, so I have to turn off the stereo audio. Okay. You're definitely going to mute yourself, otherwise, yeah. It's going to be triple over. Okay, so I invite everyone to get comfortable and take some slow, deep breaths in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And as you are breathing, focus on the breath and the energy of the breath traveling through, actually, from the reverse. And so from the causal chakra, where we receive our messages and our creation, down through the crown, through the third eye, through the throat chakra, the heart chakra, through the solar plexus. Did I skip the throat? The throat chakra, through the heart chakra, down through the solar plexus and to the sacral, and down to the root and through that earth star chakra. So we're really clearing this channel through, and of course focusing on the sacral and root and solar plexus. These are where we are experiencing this energy, and we're going to focus on bringing that connection that we're, and maybe that's why I had that breakthrough, is to realize that that's the connection that needs to be bridged between the upper chakras and the lower chakras. And there is Reiki that is flowing through this experience, so you can choose to receive that Reiki by saying, I choose to receive that Reiki for my highest good and for the highest good of all. And let me just look at the time so I can have some form of awareness. Okay. Here we go. Just choose to receive. Allow yourself a moment of silence to listen to your sacred water. As you come back to this space, I invite you to drink some water. Oops. Let me fix the audio. There we go.
There we go.
Yes. As you come back, I invite you to drink some water. Oh, closer. Oops. And allow yourself to welcome in these new energies. How did this feel for you, KJ?
I loved it as always. Near the beginning, once I got my breath, and got centered. I hope the truck is not too. Garbage trucks are still not done here, but I felt my third eye vibrating, and I did feel that it's kind of moved down through my body, and it was also really helpful integration because I got back from Sedona yesterday, so I'm still vibing from that. So that was beautiful and so appreciated.
You are so welcome. Yeah, I felt at one point, I felt my eyes starting to well up with tears, and I was like, there's definitely movement in the sacred waters for those who will receive this. And as KJ said, the Reiki and the sound and whatever comes through for you within this is something you can revisit over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
whenever you choose to receive it, it will be there in perpetuity. And we look forward to continuing to provide integration sessions, which we will only get better and better about doing. This is our first one. And not all three of us, a little different, but they will generally be slightly longer experiences because we want to make sure that we lean into the integration and provide the recap for those who did not get to tap in. If anyone has anything they want to share or questions who are tuning in, we would love to hear from you. And if not, that's also totally okay. It is very common for people to prefer quiet time after, something like this. So that is totally okay as well. And next week we will be back with a new topic. And we will start with the intro, and then the following week will be the deep dive, and then the following week will be the integration. So the cycle of life continues. Are there any comments, KJ, coming in?
No, I didn't see anything.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us for our first integration session. And while, as KJ said, there's much more for us to talk about, and we will definitely be revisiting the conversation of menstruation over and over and over again, we're excited that we could dive into this now and to start opening this up at a time where this conversation is so needed. So very exciting. And and remember, intimacy
Starts
it's
within.
I love you unconditionally. See you Tuesday.